Hey everybody, welcome to another fan focus episode on the All Juve cast brought to you by Striped Hearts Apparel, which of course is the only brand for Juventini that allows all of us to vote on moments and or players that we want to have captured on some tees. First drop coming very, very soon. Obviously, COVID has thrown a wrench into plans, but it's coming. So thanks for all your patience out there. Join me today. I have someone that reached out and we had prepared to join forces for a recap on the Roma Juve match. The season obviously postponed right now until further notice. But I was glad that you reached out about doing this fan focus, and these have been going great. And I have Dean joining me today. Dean, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing really, really good, all things considering.
Mm.
What have you been up to during these days? I mean, you're in Eastern Canada, right? Are you in Toronto?
No, I'm actually in the States.
Oh, you're in the States. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought you were in Eastern Canada. So, okay. Whereabouts?
I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I'm in State College, Pennsylvania. That's where I live with my wife.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so what have you been doing with no Juve?
Boy, it's been tough.
Yeah.
Just luckily, still working, Monday through Friday. Just trying to occupy ourselves with all streaming services and social media, stuff like that. So, the usual.
Yeah, and you mentioned obviously you're still working through everything going on with COVID.
Mhm.
So, what is it that you do for work?
So I work for a logistics company. I'm in asset management. My company primarily deals with medical and surgical equipment. So we help get them to the doctors and hospitals that need the equipment. So it's
There
been
you go.
pretty. It's good to have a job that helps people.
Oh, absolutely. And I imagine that it's been going pretty crazy for you right now.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into some of these questions. We've already cleared the first couple. Let's
Sure.
get into football, soccer. Did you ever play growing up? Was there other sports that you played? Yeah, let's
Yeah.
start.
I played everything, a normal kid, especially in the States, plays. Soccer was one of them. Besides baseball, football, basketball. Yeah, I did play soccer when I was growing up. Football, as I like to refer to it now. But yeah, I was just always that bigger kid, and you know, always had me in the back there. But I always enjoyed it.
Nice. That's awesome. So you played what, center back?
Yeah, center back maybe a couple of times, playing that deep lying midfield, but mostly center back.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. So let's get into. You've always been in Pennsylvania, have you?
No, so I'm originally from New Jersey.
Okay.
That's born and raised there. I actually just moved to Pennsylvania a couple of years ago because I went to school here at Penn State University. That's where State College is. So smack dab right in the middle.
Nice. Okay. So how do you become a Juventino over there?
So I can actually say it's my friends from college. They were the ones who got me into it. They were really big into Italian football. They all tried to get me to like their teams, because I was trying to get into it. I have a couple. There's majority of them are Roma fans,
Okay.
unfortunately. Then we have a Lazio and a Fiorentina, but none of them really stood out to me. None of them really stuck. But I remember watching with them the Euros in 2012. I remember watching Italy just have a great team. I remember watching the final against Spain, and I remember watching Gigi and Pirlo play, and I was like, I got to know more about these guys. So I found out they were on the same team, and just kind of rolled from there.
Yeah. Nice. So Gigi and Pirlo after
Yeah.
the Euros end up getting you into Juve.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. So, and that's been a pretty, not a very long time frame,
No.
but we're looking at just under 10 years. So,
Yeah. Just about 2011, 2012. Yeah.
yeah. So, in that period of time, in that stretch of time, who's been your favorite Juve player?
Oh, hands down, it's definitely Gigi.
Yeah.
Just because he's such a leader. The passion he has for the club, how personable he is. You can't beat that guy.
Yeah,
So
no.
yeah,
I mean, even with the old school ones, right? And like now you got the newer fans. I mean, it's just that guy's presence stands out and everything that he stands for and what he's
yeah,
done for the club. So it's
hmm
pretty good. Now, even for newer fans, Pirlo's up there
hmm
for all the
yeah.
newer fans as well within that 10-year time frame.
hmm
Who's your favorite current player on the roster?
That's a tough one. I mean, it has to be Dybala.
DePaula.
Just because he's the next one who just kind of exudes like he wants to wear he wants to wear the stripes. He has Juve in his heart. So he's our guy.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's good. Solid pick. Um, in this 10-year time frame that
Mhm.
you've been a Juventino, who's a player that you just never really caught any kind of
Yeah,
affection for or anything? Just your least favorite player?
yeah. This was a tough one because I was going through like some of the guys we had, and especially like in my early my starting time in the early 2000s, tens and stuff like that. There's a couple. Bentner came to mind.
Yeah,
I remember when we signed him and Anelka.
yeah,
And then I think the guy who really tops all of them right now, I mean, like, and he's currently still on the squad, it's Kadira.
yeah. So
So
Kadira, I mean, when he first come along, it wasn't that bad,
yeah, hmm
But just recently, I think like his time should have passed, and the club should have really recognized that, right? This
yeah,
question actually becomes a lot easier for the older fans because there's just a little bit of that window from after Calciopoli there in
hmm
2006. You could pick there's a plethora of guys that
oh yeah,
were just not Juve caliber, but we were trying to build our way back. But
yeah, oh
all
yeah.
right, so good shout there. Um, what is your all-time five-a-side Juve squad look like? So,
Mm.
you're a fan for 10 years, but have you had a chance to like watch classic matches and stuff and really look at the old school Juve matches and those
Oh,
rosters?
oh yeah. I mean, I've definitely, once I sort of get into the club, I dived in right into the history. So I mean,
Nice.
I've learned about players and everything what happened with like Calciopoli and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
nice.
yeah,
So,
so I definitely yeah.
sorry. So, based on your research and the matches you have watched and whatnot, what is your five-a-side Juve of all time look like?
Let's see. I mean, Gigi's definitely in goal. Obviously, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'd probably pick Chiellini. Having the back there. Um, Midfield wise, I would like to throw in probably Marquisio.
Nice.
And because he's kind of a bridge from the old time to the new time. And then I'd probably put. It's so tough to put somebody beside him. I'd probably go Vidal just to kind of have that, toughness that we need, and also both of those guys can do everything you ask of them.
Yeah.
And then probably put like either Del Piero and Ronaldo. Those would
Nice.
probably be my two attackers up front.
That's a pretty solid
Yeah.
five-side squad. Nice. Nicely done. Um, in the time that you've been following Juve, who's the most underrated player you feel?
Mm. Yeah, that was also a tough one. Again, like so many came to mind, and like Marquisio was the first one who jumped out at me.
Yeah.
He gets so much recognition from Juventini, but outside of that, nobody. I mean, so many people can't even tell you who he is.
Yeah.
But the one who really stuck out to me was Carlos Tevez,
Hmm.
just because of he when we signed him, there was a lot of baggage that came with him.
Yeah.
Uh, but I feel like he really righted the ship with us. And then I feel like once we signed him, a person of his caliber, once we left, I feel like it kind of set us to the next level, able to sign some more top tier guys, which led to Mandzukic, it led to Pepita, that led to Ronaldo. So I think Tevez just doesn't get as much credit for that.
Yeah. Okay, so Tevez comes up as one of your most underrated, and yeah, I
Mm,
mean the that guy he just blew me away because
mm,
I did kind of buy into that. the issues and stuff that we may run
Yep.
into, right, personality wise. But he was incredible, and by the end of
Yeah.
it, I mean, I was actually upset that he wasn't staying
Hmm.
just even one more season.
Yeah.
And
I
this kind of
100.
brings me to that next question.
Mm,
Um, who's a player you wish we didn't sell when we
mm,
did? Um, that just kind of brings me right to that question because I mean, there's a few that jump out at me right away that have been in this last 10-year stretch that
yeah.
you've been a fan, right? But yeah, who would your pick be for someone you wish the club wouldn't have sold when they did?
Yeah. I mean, I think somebody like Tevez, he definitely his time ran through. I would love to see him stay a little longer. I hated the way they sent off Gigi and Marquisio. Like I don't even consider him being at PSG or Marquisio being at Zenit for that year or whatever. That's just not even in my memory anymore. But right now, just because of the way the current squad really looks, I would say like, I mean, I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes and everything, but Cancelo, he leaves a giant hole at right back that we just can't. We're looking now, really looking. It's not easy to fill.
Yeah, I think I just yeah, Tevez sticks out to me.
Mm,
Pogba sticks out
mm,
to me. I mean, we and we're not getting into all the reasoning or anything like
yeah.
that, but just strictly who you wish the club didn't sell. And Pogba was
Mm,
one. And it's not factoring reasons. I'm not blaming the club. We know
mm,
that Pogba was set on going back and had a point to prove with the Premiership.
yeah.
But I always wonder, like if he had stayed,
Mm.
what would have happened in those following years, right?
Oh,
Tevez
sure.
was the same. I felt he left even one season too soon, right?
Mm,
But yeah,
yeah.
those kind of guys jump out in mind.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Marquisio and the Gigi, yeah, I mean, Marquisio was really kind of out of the blue as well. It was
Mm,
really, really bizarre. He looked fantastic in the summer camp,
mm,
in those preseason matches, and then it was just like they're letting him go,
yeah.
and it was just like, what?
Mm,
Why?
yeah.
Like
It
really?
was.
And then we went into the season like short at that position.
Mm,
Literally had to play three guys like consecutively for many, many matches.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just bizarre. The Buffon scenario, I see that a little differently,
Mm,
only because you know, we had Chesney, we
mm,
brought him in. It felt like everything was going according to plan, and Buffon was part of that, and everybody knew that, hey, like Chesney's going to come in here. He doesn't need to come to Juve and sit behind anybody.
right.
He was of the caliber that could be starting somewhere.
Mm,
And it felt like it was just mutual amongst everybody. And then all of a sudden, Gigi's like, no, he started getting offers, and he's like, I want to play again. Like I want to play
right. Yeah.
another year. So it was like, well, we brought in Chesney, and we made this promise. So it was almost like he handcuffed the club. Maybe I don't know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
but
can
it
see it
is
that way.
what it is. It's just like the funny part, the hardest part is like we did that whole farewell thing, and now it's like
Yeah.
we got to do it all over again.
Right.
But he might get a position within the club and
Yeah.
management, which would be fantastic.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. Yeah. Him and Pirlo and Barzali and those
yeah,
guys definitely should be on the staff somewhere.
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and Barzagli, I mean, I don't think it's any coincidence that after he had come aboard and started helping, that we started to solidify ourselves
Mm.
at the back a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right around the time Delict really started to
Mm.
step up his game. But
Yep.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's great. Let's get into, if you could spend a day with a former or a current Juve player, any one of your pick, you could choose what you guys would do during the day. Who would you pick? Why would you pick them? And what would you do?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it's just because of how much I love the guy, but it probably would be Gigi. Probably just sit down, maybe like at a small cafe, grab a espresso or something with him. Just pick his brain. Just hang out with the guy. Um, just there's so many questions that come to mind. Just like you
What
know,
are some of them?
like I was just thinking to myself, it's like how is it different from around the Calciopoli time in the mid 2000s to the guys now? Um, you know, how was it when you left for PSG for that year?
Yeah.
You know, how emotional were you on your farewell tour? Um, you know, who do you see stepping up as that next guy? You know, how were the guys? You know, how was it different from just the times and even the World Cup in '06? Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's so many pop in the head.
There's a couple things jump out at me. You touched on one, which was Calciopoli, and
Mm.
I'd like to ask him about, that time and what was
Oh
going
yeah.
on in his mind, because there was literally, he could play anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
Right? And just,
Yeah.
how do you, how do you prepare yourself for something?
Mm.
And what are your thoughts even after looking back? Because it was like, it took us, you know, 5, 6 years to get back,
Oh yeah.
where we needed
Mm.
to be. Um, and I'd also ask him about the halftime at Cardiff there.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's
I think
I
that's like, just
yeah.
anybody that's in there, if I had the opportunity, just what actually went down.
Yeah. If him and Michael Oliver were in a room by themselves, well, what would actually happen? So
That's another one too.
yeah.
Just that ref. That's funny.
Yeah.
Um, Jerseys. Let's get into some jersey
Yeah.
talk. So I see a couple hanging up
Mhm.
behind you. You got the nice zebra print there.
Oh yeah.
Now, what's your favorite UA jersey ever?
Yeah, this was probably the toughest one for me because I'm such a Kits guy.
Nice.
Yeah, Kits just they just tell such a story.
Yeah.
Every year it's something different. They said different emotions and everything like that. So this one I was going back and forth. I love all the ones like you have, like the late '90s,
Yeah.
the mini disc ones. I'm such a fan of those. Just that look, iconic,
Yeah.
clean. Just so nice. Um, I'm really partial to the 2012, 2013, my very first ones. All three of them, just because they were so nice. Just the stripes, the pink with the star, um, the all black with just the stripes on the arm,
Yeah.
just so nice looking.
Yeah.
So I'd say they were probably all three of my favorites, but then I have to throw in the black and gold from like 2015, 16, I believe it was.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
nice one for
that's
sure.
just such a nice one.
Nice. Yeah, those are all solid picks. So you're a kids guy. What's your collection like?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I have let's see, I have about probably eight or so of them.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, my goal is definitely to display them at some point. So I'm just trying to build my collection and everything like that. I mean, I probably the earliest one probably would be from 2012, and then I worked my way up,
Yeah,
throughout the years.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had to do that kits out challenge, and it took
Hmm.
me a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah.
They got
Yeah.
it done, but it's
Yeah. Yours
cool.
is yours is so nice.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I still get that from time to time. They're just like, man, you still wear jerseys. They
Hmm.
got players' names on it. Like, that's for kids or whatnot. But you touched on it.
Yeah.
It isn't for me. It's like I associate the memories. So all those old kits and whatnot, they're like memories of where I was watching
Hmm.
matches and with my dad, and just like funny little stories from us watching together
Yeah.
and whatnot, and they tie in those memories, right? And then the players,
Hmm.
that's just part of my childhood, and growing up and whatnot.
Oh
And
yeah.
even nowadays, it's just like, you watch a player, whenever you get some type of connection with that
Hmm.
player, you get a kit, but then as you wear it certain matches, watching them or whatnot, you start to they just equal memories,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? So it's totally different. So a lot of people just don't realize that or
Hmm.
take that into consideration, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, most of the memories I have, and you just picture the kit on the person or whatever's happening. You just, and you know what year it is, and
well,
it's just,
exactly, right? Yeah, how many times you see is just like a lot of these kit accounts on Twitter, when they
mhm.
say who's the first player you think of when you see this kit, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like boom, flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see Del Piero wearing that, when he scored this goal or
Right.
what, right? So
Oh
it's
yeah.
It's just the way it is. But no,
100%.
that's cool. That's great that you're working on a collection there and whatnot.
Yep.
That's awesome. Um, if you played for Juve, what number would you wear? Why would you choose that number?
Yeah. Yeah. This was a good one as well. Just because, like I said, growing up, I played. I was always a bigger kid. I was, bigger than most of the kids growing up. So they always put me right in the back, right in front of goal. But I like playing center back. I like being that tough guy. Stop guys coming forward. You're not going to score. You're not going to score on me today.
Yeah,
Uh, so just because I love Chiellini so much as well, and 3 is my favorite number.
nice.
I probably would go with 3. Um, but I was really torn because I was thinking about 21 and Pirlo and Zidane and Thuram and I
Yeah,
mean, there's so many people.
yeah. 21s. Yeah, we've had
Yeah,
some
even with Dybala when he
awesome
first started.
ones.
Yeah,
Okay, so you'd go, but your file you would go with three,
I would. Yeah, 3 would be my number because that's just
and you play
that suits us.
center back. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this one's just fun. I love seeing what people come up with. If you let's put ourselves in the Juve Stadium and you've scored a goal, what song comes on for your celebration?
Well, if I was lucky enough to be a center back and score, that's a miracle in itself.
Let's say
But
you come in with a powering header on a
yeah,
corner.
on a corner, yeah, that's probably the only way it would happen. But I'm a very big hip hop guy. I grew up in a city in New Jersey, so hip hop's been a big part of mine. And then especially growing up in the '90s, I was a very really big like DMX fan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so I probably throw on the X is gonna give it to you.
nice.
Yeah, be in the corner, have everybody throw up the X or something like that.
That's awesome. I
Something
like
like
it.
that.
I like it.
Yeah,
DMX.
get the crowd going. It always gets me going. I mean, so I figured it will pump the people up as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So let's get into the actual matches. We talked about kits. We talked
Mm.
about the memories and whatnot. So what usually? Let's take us through a match day with you and whatnot. Where do you watch? Do you have any pre-match rituals or superstitions that you have to do on match day?
Yeah, I mean, I usually watch at home. Luckily it's on ESPN Plus, and I can just turn that on. It's been a godsend, really, because there's not really too many places to go, especially right now. But also,
Yeah,
there's not a ton of football fans in central Pennsylvania. Um, the only superstitious thing I have is I usually wear, if we're wearing a home kit, if we're home and we're wearing our home kit, I wear one of mine. If we're away, I wear away. Maybe I'll throw in an alternate once in a while, but I usually match what they're wearing.
there you go. All right.
Yeah.
So watch at home, and you match the kits, home for home, away for away, and the
Yeah.
odd third getting mixed in there. All right,
Yeah.
that's cool. So what's it like watching with you? Are you one of those jittery types that gets up, kind of walks around? Are you able to just sit there comfortably and take the match in?
I mean, I'm usually one of those. I can just sit back and relax. But whenever something good happens, I'm jumping up right up off the couch and
Nice.
hopefully not scaring my wife or anything like that. So
Yeah, I wish I could sit back and just
yeah,
relax. I find myself always on the edge of the couch until it's time to get up and pace around.
yeah. There's certain times where I'm definitely up against the TV and like yelling at it.
Yeah,
There's definitely times like that.
that's awesome. Um, let's talk about a funny or interesting story involving you in your time as a Juve supporter.
Mhm.
Maybe banter with some of your friends who support other Serie A clubs, or just a get together watching a live match. Like, share a story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, with my friends especially, it's a constant battle. Pretty much, it's a daily thing with them because we talk about football so much. Especially like I said, with them being Roma and Lazio and Fiorentina, they all hate Juve.
Yeah,
So it's a constant battle that way. I even hear from some of my other friends. I have a Premier League friend, and I also have like an MLS fan, and I still hear things from them, which is
that
ridiculous.
MLS fan doesn't really have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, he's true. He's yeah, he's a diehard New York Red Bulls fan, but I don't know, he just can't move outside the borders. But it's whatever.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, just with those guys, it's a constant battle, just because they hate it so much. And yeah, I haven't been able to take in too many games with other people, just because in the States we don't get a ton of them, but I do remember one specific memory when I was still in college, on campus, walking around one day, and I had my pink Pirlo jersey on, and I'm walking down the path, and I come across this one guy. He's wearing the same exact kit as I am, and we point at each other, and we're just like, "Oh, hey, yeah, nice jersey there." And it was just, we just kept on going by, but just wearing the same thing on the same day, it was funny.
That's awesome. I love stories like that. I probably would have had to stop and have a conversation with
Yeah.
him. But I got a funny story. We had moved into our new home, my wife and I, and we were getting appliances delivered.
Mm.
So they were putting it in our kitchen. It's an open concept upstairs, and I was watching a Juve match. I believe it was the one against Lazio in Serie A when we ended up losing. And there was three of them moving our appliances up in the upstairs, and one of them, I could kind of hear a little bit of a yelling, not really yelling, but just somebody getting called out, like, hey, what are you doing? And I
Yeah.
turn back, I look, he's at our island watching the match that I have on the screen. I'm just sitting there and I look back and he's like, hey, what's the score, whatever. And we just started getting into this conversation. Meanwhile, these other two guys are working away and moving all the appliances in there. We're talking Juve. And then, he ends up the match at the end. I'm choked, shutting it down. And then he's trying to talk. And I'm just like, man, I just need a couple minutes here. I can't get into you asking me about how it's been with Ronaldo and stuff like that, but it was just really, really funny.
Sure.
He started getting into it, and he started bringing up, Ronaldo and Juve, and I could hear him talking to the other employees there, just about what's been going on in Serie A. And I was just kind of had my ear going, just listening, like what his take was and his perception, because he said, he's like, I'm not a Juve fan, but Ronaldo's there now and I've been watching and stuff.
That's like the main question I get nowadays too. It's like, oh, you like Ronaldo? I'm like, I've been a fan longer than that.
Yeah. We were walking in, picking up furniture for the place, and I had my Juve jacket, hoodie on, and it had the crest on, and the guy walks by, he goes, hey, he's like, Juve. He's like, I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, Ronaldo. And I'm like, Del Piero.
Exactly. Right.
That's what I said. I was like, no. I was like, Del Piero, Buffon.
Gigi, Marchisio. Like Chiellini. Yeah.
But it's just funny. I mean, that's the way it is. Just Ronaldo's been bringing in so much more exposure, right? But
that's what they did.
It's interesting to see it out here in North America, right? Like it's because I don't see too many kids. Like I'm in a real small town in British Columbia, Canada. You don't see too many kids going out in Juve kits unless it's Italian families.
Sure.
I'll usually notice, I'll say, oh yeah, I know his father or whatnot, and I know they're Italian, and they'll have the Juve kits. But now it's like there's Ronaldo kits popping up all over the place. And it's funny. It's different. I'm not used to it, right? So.
And that's what they brought him in for, to help the team and also help that exposure.
Yeah. So it's been interesting to watch since that's taken place. What's the best moment you've witnessed on TV or live? Actually, have you been to a live match of Juventus?
No, I have not. It's definitely on my bucket list to do. My wife and I have, we talk about seeing Italy itself just because we haven't been there. But, I have to make a stop in Turin when I'm there. So
absolutely.
Yeah. If a match is going on, I'm going to be there for sure. But no, I haven't unfortunately. But the ones I have seen on TV, which I've been lucky enough to, witness, I think two of them really stick out in my mind. It's probably back in 2012. I remember watching us lift our first Scudetto of my time anyway. I think it was just the beginning of the eight-year run that we're on right now. I remember watching it in my room at home. Luckily, like I got like beIN Sports for some reason on our cable provider, and I was watching the match, and seeing all those guys lift the trophy at the end, the smiles on their faces, the confetti coming down, it just sucked me in.
Yeah.
So that's the very first one. And then I remember watching my very first Champions League final back in, was it 14, 15?
Yeah.
And, just the excitement I remember, watching that match. And luckily I was home I had the day off from work that day. So I was able to watch it, because it's tough to watch it, Champions League in
Yeah.
North America.
That's the North American curse there for us, just time difference. We're always
Yeah,
like a work day or something.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, we got to use some personal days there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was lucky enough I had the day off that day, and I remember just, building up to the, afternoon, and I was so excited to watch it, and obviously it didn't turn out well.
Yeah, that's that's something you got to. That's where you earned your stripes as a Juventino, though, man. Because
Yeah.
that's something you got to go through. That's just in our, it's just in our culture, and all of us in our history. I mean, we've had to deal with it, and it's almost like this bond that we have amongst each other. That's just like, we can joke amongst each other about the Champions League failures, but if somebody else starts lipping off about it, we're just on them. Like,
for sure. No, it's and we went through it, about a year or two later anyway. So, definitely went through some hardships, but those two just, just feeling the excitement and, really just getting into the club. Just, those were just two that really stuck out in my mind.
Yeah.
So
that's great, man. Your favorite goal?
Yeah, this took some digging as well, because you get great goals every year. I think back to like that screamer Pogba had back in 2012 against Udinese, and that great goal that gets brought up all the time. I think of Mandzukic and the Champions League final, that that rainbow he had, beautiful goal. But I really think, and I'm probably a prisoner of having be pretty relatively fresh, but the Dybala goal this last match against Merida, just because it was just significant on many levels. Against Merida, first of all, the skill he put into that goal. I mean, the touch and the feet, and putting it out to the side of the keeper, and oh my God, it was beautiful.
Did you happen to catch the Instagram live with Paulo Dybala and Ale Del Piero?
Oh, the other day?
Yeah.
I caught snippets of it. I didn't catch the whole thing.
They brought up this goal, and they were talking about their, favorite goals or whatnot. And Del Piero actually brought that latest one up against Merida, and he said the beautiful thing about this goal is everything from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
The goal had everything. It had control and touch from trapping it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had the 1-2 between he and Ramsey.
Oh, yeah.
Then it had the deke on Young.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then it just had the outside of the boot finish right in the corner, goalie frozen. He's like literally had everything, like from technicality to the shot to just everything. And then the skill to just the dribbling. Like he's like, it had everything in that goal.
Oh yeah, it was
cool to hear them talk about that.
Yeah, it was perfection. I mean, like you said, I can picture it in my mind, just him on the outside, stopping that ball and working his way up, like you said, with him and Ramsey. And
that goal was the only thing that hurt me about that goal was the fact that it was behind an empty stadium. That thing deserved a packed house. It was so phenomenal.
Yeah, the whole curve. I mean, just that thing would have erupted, and I mean that's the other deeper lying meaning behind that goal. It's just because of what we're going through in the world right now, and it was the last match before the whole league was suspended, and who knows? I mean, who knows when we're going to come back? And it put us on top of the league, and it just so much meaning to it.
Absolutely. That's we touched on all the questions we want. I want to give you an opportunity if you had any questions that you wanted to ask Dean.
Yeah, sure. So when are we going to get a Striped Hearts sponsored FIFA tournament?
Oh, nice. Yeah. So it's got to be Xbox One.
Yeah, that's what I have. So
okay. Yeah, we can make that happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, I see it. I see a couple people out there with PlayStation tournaments going on. I'm like, where's the Xbox love?
I was thinking about that too. I was like, we gotta start getting the Xbox love out there. So that's
Yeah.
a great shout. And you know what? We'll start working on that so that maybe we can set that up for the following weekend.
Yeah.
Um, Time zones are going to be a challenge, and I'm still an essential service, as
Hmm.
are you.
Yeah. Hmm.
So play into the scheduling, but yeah, we'll get something going. I'm
Yeah.
behind that.
Yeah. I figured, it'll get help get striped hearts out there a little bit more and
Yeah, I
stuff
like
like that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Dean?
No, man, that was the only one I had for you.
That's awesome. Okay, no issues at all.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to work this out and get the
Oh
fan
yeah.
focus going. Just because, yeah, the delay with the league games, and we had a lot of first timers that were going to join the pod. And my favorite part about all the first timers is finding out, how long they've been Juventini, what
Hmm.
brought them to the club and stuff. So I figured if we can't do the match recaps, let's at least get the best out of the rest, which is just meeting everybody out there
Oh
and
yeah.
their stories. So thanks again for doing that, Dean. It's been awesome. We will, once the league resumes,
Hmm.
still be on booked for a match recap. Uh,
Hey, I'm all over it, man.
yeah, absolutely. And thanks for the support. It's
Sure.
been fantastic. Doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you, everybody who's taking the time to listen and reach out. If you want to take part in these fan focuses, just, DM me over Twitter there at AllUVCast. And yeah, we will set it up.
Hmm.
These were blast. Thanks again. And as always, until next time, Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.
Ciao.